Welcome back, everyone. In our last lecture, we explored contingency leadership and learned that effective leaders first evaluate the situation before deciding how to lead. Today, we're taking that idea one step further. Instead of asking, what situation am I facing? We're going to ask, who am I leading? One of the biggest mistakes new supervisors make is treating every employee exactly the same. While that may seem fair, it often isn't effective. Different people require different kinds of leadership. Today's lesson introduces situational leadership, a model that helps leaders adapt their approach based on the competence and commitment of the people that they supervise. So imagine you're supervising two officers assigned to the same patrol shift. One officer graduated from the academy just last week. They're enthusiastic but inexperienced. Every traffic stop feels new, and every call for service is a learning opportunity. The second officer has been a patrol officer for 20 years. They've handled thousands of calls, trained younger officers, and can solve most problems without your assistance. Now ask yourself this: should you supervise both officers exactly the same way? Probably not. One needs direction and instruction. The other needs trust and independence. And that is the central idea behind situational leadership. So let's connect today's lesson with our previous lecture. With contingency leadership, we asked, what situation am I facing? In situational leadership, we're asking, who am I leading? Imagine you're responding to the exact same burglary investigation. The situation hasn't changed, but the officer assigned to the case has. If it's the rookie officer, you'll probably provide detailed guidance. If it's your senior detective, you'll likely step back and allow them to work independently. The situation stays consistent, but the leadership changes because the person changes. So, situational leadership was developed by Paul Hersey and Ken Blanchard. Their theory is built on a very practical observation. People grow. As employees gain experience, confidence, and competence, they require different kinds of leadership. An officer's needs during their first month on patrol are very different from their needs after 10 years of experience. Great supervisors recognize those differences and adjust accordingly. The goal isn't to treat everyone equally. The goal is to help every employee succeed. The Hersey-Blanchard model uses two simple ideas. The first is competence. Does the employee have the knowledge and the skills to perform the task? The second is commitment. Does the employee have the confidence and the motivation to perform well? By combining these two factors, leaders can determine what type of leadership their employees need. It's a simple concept, but it has transformed leadership training across business, education, healthcare, and criminal justice. So let's look at the 4 development levels. The model identifies 4 development levels. In D1, you have the enthusiastic beginner. They have high motivation but low experience. D2 is the disillusioned learner. They have discovered the job is more difficult than they expected, and they may lose confidence. D3 is the capable but cautious performer. They possess the necessary skills but occasionally doubt themselves. And finally, D4 is the self-reliant achiever. They're competent, they're confident, and capable of working independently. Every employee moves through these steps at different speeds. So let's go in depth. The first style is called directing. This style provides high direction and low emotional support. The supervisor clearly explains what needs to be done, how it should be done, and when it should be completed. And this is not because the employee lacks intelligence. It is because the employee is still learning. Clear expectations reduce confusion and build competence. New officers often appreciate direct leadership because it gives them confidence while they're developing their skills. Here's, number 1 in action at the rookie's first felony stop. So imagine a rookie officer is conducting their first felony traffic stop. As their supervisor, you don't simply say, "Good luck." Instead, they explain the approach, assign responsibilities, monitor the stop, and provide immediate feedback afterward. Every instruction helps this officer gain confidence. As competence grows, the amount of direction can gradually decrease. The supervisor's goal isn't dependence. The goal is independence. So the second leadership style is coaching. Here, the supervisor still provides direction, but also spends more time explaining why decisions are made. Coaching combines instruction with encouragement. Instead of simply correcting mistakes, the leader teaches. They answer questions. They build confidence. Employees at this stage are learning rapidly, but they still need regular feedback to continue their improvement. Let's see style 2 in action. Imagine an officer whose reports consistently require revisions. A coaching supervisor doesn't simply rewrite the report. Instead, they review the report together. They explain the legal requirements, identify strengths, they discuss improvements, and encourage the officer to revise it themselves. This process takes more time today, but it creates a stronger officer tomorrow. Coaching develops competence while maintaining confidence. So the third style is called supporting. At this point, employees directly already know how to perform the job. The challenge is not competence. It's confidence. The supervisor spends less time giving instructions and more time listening, encouraging, and building trust. Sometimes the most valuable thing a leader can do is simply ask, "How can I help you?" Here's S3 in action. So imagine a veteran officer who has just experienced their first officer-involved shooting. They already know department policy. They already know investigative procedures. What they may need most is emotional support. An effective supervisor ensures they're connected with peer support, counseling resources, and wellness services while maintaining regular communication. This shows leadership is not about always giving orders. Sometimes leadership is about standing beside your people during their most difficult moments. The final style is going to be delegating. Employees at this level possess both competence and confidence. The supervisor provides minimal direction because the employee has earned independence. Delegating does not mean ignoring people. It means trusting capable professionals while remaining available when needed. One of the greatest compliments a supervisor can give an experienced employee is trust. How does this work in action? So, imagine assigning a veteran homicide detective to a complex murder investigation. As a supervisor, you don't dictate every interview or investigative lead. Instead, you help remove obstacles, secure resources, and stay informed about the progress of the investigation. Experienced professionals thrive when leaders empower them rather than micromanage them. So how do we match leadership to readiness? So we want to summarize this model. Enthusiastic beginners, they need directing. Disillusioned learners, they need coaching. Capable but cautious performers need supporting. And self-reliant achievers need delegating. So notice that leadership changes because people change. And that is the heart of situational leadership. So common leadership mistakes, and this is easy to make as a new leader. Many supervisors struggle because they treat every employee exactly the same. Some micromanage experienced officers. Others delegate too quickly to inexperienced employees. Still, others fail to recognize when employees' confidence has declined after a difficult experience. So situational leadership reminds us that leadership should evolve as our people evolve. So here's a case study, a new patrol team. So imagine you have inherited a new patrol team. Officer A has 15 years of experience and consistently performs at a high level. Officer B has 6 months of experience and frequently asks questions. Officer C performs well, but recently lost confidence after receiving public criticism during a major incident. Are you going to supervise all 3 officers the same way? Absolutely not. Each officer requires a different leadership approach, and recognizing those differences is one of the most important responsibilities that you have as a supervisor. So let's do a reflection, and I want you, like usual, if you want to share your reflection, put it down in the comments. Think about the best supervisor you've ever worked for. Did they treat every employee exactly the same? Or did they understand that different people needed different types of leadership? The most respected leaders aren't remembered for treating everyone equally. They're remembered for treating people appropriately. Here are some key takeaways. Before we finish, remember 4 important ideas. First, employees develop over time. Second, competence and confidence both influence performance. Third, leadership should change as employees grow. Finally, great supervisors don't ask, "What's my leadership style?" They ask, "What does this employee need from me today?" So in our next lecture, we'll examine one of the most greatest tests of leadership, leading during critical incidents. Whether it's an active shooter, a natural disaster, or an officer-involved shooting, crisis situations demand rapid decisions, clear communication, and calm leadership under pressure. We will explore how effective leaders guide their teams when every second counts. I will see you in the next video.